Welcome back to the Mondo Toronto YouTube channel. I'm Trevor, and this is Matt, the main man over at Mondo Mechanical. And today we're going to be talking about HVAC repair Edmonton, plumbing and HVAC maintenance questions. Some very good things we're going to be talking about today. So here's a quick quotation from Henry Ford. We are entering an era when we shall create resources which shall be so constantly renewed that the only loss will be not to use them. There will be such a plenteous supply of heat, light, and power that it will be a sin not to use all we want. The era is coming now, and it is coming by way of water. So pretty deep thoughts there by Henry Ford, who was a pioneer of his day, bringing us mass transportation and invented a new way of building products for people in an assembly line that really changed the way everything is done today. Here's a quick fact for you guys from insurance industry research. 37% of U.S. homeowners claim to have suffered losses from water damage. So Matt, what's the story we have today?
So on one or more occasion, I've been called out to fix a problem, whether it's for plumbing, heating, or air conditioning, that I would have not had to come, or my guys. If the homeowner would have done some basic maintenance on their plumbing and HVAC systems, could save them a lot of money down the road.
Yeah, that's always the case. We never want to do anything because we're tired when we get home, but a little bit of maintenance on the weekends will save lots of money. So here's one question that people might have for you, Matt. How often should you change out your furnace filter?
So there's not an exact science with this. Every home is a little bit different. You know, do you have animals? Do you have animals that shed? Do you have kids? Do you have a lot of appliances? Appliances create dust. So depending on your home, is there construction going on down the street? So there is so many variances, but typically those 1-inch filters, which are in almost all homes, that's those little skinny guys, those things, especially in the cooling season, should be changed almost monthly. A lot of people say, oh, I change it regularly, and they say, you know, every 3 to 6 months. That is not enough. Those are undersized filters. They're already restrictive. When they start getting plugged, they're a lot harder on your equipment. So, you know, the bigger, thicker ones are 5 inches or 4 inches. Those ones you can get, 3 to 5 months on it. Just again, depending on all the things inside your home. The best thing to do is change your filter more frequently than not. It's think of an oil change in your car.
Right. Now let's talk about air conditioning. How often should you clean the air conditioning system, and what's involved in that? Is that something that anybody can do, or should they give you a call?
So manufacturer recommends that you should have your AC equipment cleaned and serviced annually. Again, a lot of the outdoor aspects of your area, is it dirty, construction, all that will tend to how bad it is. I recommend typically once every year to 2 years, depending on the situation. One thing you can do as a homeowner with that is the condenser. That's the big box that sits outside. Don't do this when it's running, but you can use a garden hose and just rinse downwards, not in, but outwards and down, to rinse off any debris that's on there, and make sure there's no bags around that. That is the simple thing to do as a homeowner that you should do regularly. And then after that, we should be coming in and servicing. When we come in, we hook up the gauges to the unit. We check to make sure that there's no leaks in the refrigerant, that is fire at the proper charge that's designed to keep your efficiencies up and keep that unit running effectively. We also clean the indoor portion that most people forget. There's a coil that sits on top of your furnace, which becomes very plugged with hair, lint, all that stuff over time, dust, and that part needs to be, essentially, we have to either take off the access panel or cut holes to clean that portion properly.
Yeah, I always wondered about that because I know that there's a coil inside of there with all the fins and whatnot, and what doesn't get caught by your filter will go through and get stuck in there. So I always wondered if that was something that people cleaned or not. So thanks for enlightening me on that. Now, how often should you clean your furnace and ducts?
So furnace, again, manufacturer recommends annual maintenance. There's a simple thing you can do, again, is just change your filter. The number one to keep me away from having to fix your appliance, whether it's your furnace or air conditioner, is regular filter changing. It'll also keep your efficiencies up and keep better air quality inside your home. When it comes to your duct cleaning, we don't do that, but we do recommend it being done. And again, depends on how bad your environment is of your home. But typically it's between 2 and 4 years for your ducts to be cleaned.
Okay, good to know. Now, what about humidifier pads? I mean, in Edmonton, this is a big problem. I usually find humidifiers don't work at all. Shed some light on that for us. Help us out.
So humidifier pads typically should be changed every heating season. They're not used in summer. They're only used when winter's here. But they should be changed yearly. If you do have a water softener and you're good at adding your salt and keeping your water soft, you can get 2, sometimes 3 years out of those humidifier pads on those. And that's something that is drastically needed. If you know that you're walking around and getting zapped when you touch the cat or a light switch, you're having a humidification problem.
Okay. Now, what is the most common source of water leaks in a home? Where is that?
Right under your humidifier. You can almost go and look at any furnace, especially on newer construction, and even within the last, say, 20 years, there's what's called an L40 humidifier. It's essentially a square block about this wide and about that narrow and about this far off your furnace, and it's code to have a humidifier on your furnace. That is the easiest, cheapest way to do it, but it does not work. It is just a maintenance call waiting to happen. We've seen them fry out furnaces. We've seen them put puddles on the floor, and it's mostly due just to zero maintenance. So even a good humidifier, if you're not maintaining it, changing those pads regularly, checking the drains, they are going to eventually leak.
So people, you gotta check your humidifier, especially in the Edmonton area, because we have such hard water. It builds up so quickly. You have to be keeping an eye on that thing. Now, what are some things that shouldn't be flushed down the toilet?
So this is a question that I've never asked, but I always share. Whenever we're doing anything to do with a plugged drain, and it might not be necessarily a toilet, it might be your main drain. And we pull back feminine products. We've pulled back tree roots, so we pulled back face wipes, baby wipes, makeup pads, rags, paper towel, etc., etc. Essentially, the only thing that should be flushed down a toilet is what the human body puts in the toilet, and toilet paper and Kleenex. That is it. Nothing else. There is feminine products out there that say they're flushable. They're not. There's baby wipes that say they're flushable. They're not. There's face wipes and hand wipes that say they're flushable, and they're not. I've pulled out so many of them that just throw them in the garbage. I know it sounds gross, but change your garbage regularly. It's not fun to auger it, and is definitely not a cheap fix as well.
Absolutely. Now, what about in the kitchen, in the sinks? What shouldn't be poured down your sink?
So I remember when I was in junior high, I was taking a food home ec course, and they taught us to pour grease down the sink. You just run hot water down it.
Okay.
And that was only, I'm dating myself, about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And now there's been a big change. That's store it, don't pour it. So never pour grease down a sink. You get yourself a little jar or something, you pour all the grease into, let it dry out, and then dispose of it. If your cooking has a lot of grease, do that as well. I've even gone as far as wipe the plate off if it's really greasy before it goes into your sink. The least stuff that you can put down your drains, the better. Don't just push the food down there as well. Try to take that out, either put it in a compost or throw it in the garbage. So everything that you can prevent to go down a drain, the better.
Okay. Now, how often should a hot water tank be serviced?
So again, it's another appliance that manufacturer recommends, annual maintenance. I don't recommend having me out to do it though. The best thing you can do for yourself, and you should do it because you will prolong the life of your hot water tank, is you hook up a garden hose to it and you flush it. I have told and shown people how to do it, especially with new installs. And I've told them how to do it over the phone. It's a service that I don't mind providing for free of explaining how to do it, because it's not good value for a client on a hot water tank to have me come out and do it, or my guys annually. Will you get extended life and better efficiencies? Yes, but the math won't work out in your favor at the end.
Okay, good to know. Now, big question is, we have very cold and long winters here in Edmonton. What about frost-free hose dips? Do you have to check those before winter? I thought they were like foolproof.
And that's what a lot of people think because they say frost free. They're not. They're very misleading because of the name. But we do anywhere from, I think this year in the last 3 weeks we've done about 20 hose bibs because they've frozen and broke. And what happens is they're about this long, 10, 12 inches long, and this side is your freezing side of the outside of the home. The stopper is way back here, so this portion here drains out. It's nowhere near the frost wall, but people leave their garden hose on all winter. So if you have your garden hose still on, it doesn't allow this portion to drain. It freezes, it cracks, and the next time you go to use it, it allows water into that portion that froze and cracked. You flood your basement out. Hopefully your basement's unfinished in that scenario, so it doesn't cause any damage. But if you've left your garden hose on over the winter, I would say 99% of the time you are going to have a broken line at some point. So take those hoses off, do not leave them on hooked up, or you will be needing a repair.
All right, well, thank you so much, Matt. That's been very helpful. And I know a lot of you people out there will get a lot of knowledge out of this, and now you'll be looking at monitoring and doing maintenance on all of your appliances in your home. And if you need help with that, you can definitely call Matt at any time, and he'll be glad to either give you some advice over the phone or send some guys over there to give you a hand. Remember, if you guys need service pronto,
Call Mondo.
awesome, and we'll catch you guys next time.